I'm Amanda, and I have multiple art styles. That feels so good to get off my chest. One of the most talked about topics in the art community on YouTube is this idea of having an art style. Everyone wants it. Everyone wants to know how to get it. Everyone wants to know how so and so got theirs, and everyone wants to know why so and so's style changed. It's like this big myth that having an art style is like having this ancient artifact that you can obtain and that you can hold on to tangibly. And that's just not true. Having an art style is something I don't know I've ever really had. Even when I thought I've had it in the past, I was wrong. It turns out that throughout my life and throughout my art journey, I have always had multiple art styles, or styles that I feel like my art adheres to. And early on in my art journey, those were very similar to other artists that I liked. I had an art style similar to Sailor Moon, or an art style similar to Inuyasha. And then once I sort of grew past that and grew out of it, I had an art style that resembled more comic book characters. And then as I sort of grew out of that, my art style branched off into a lot of different things. And at first, that was kind of scary because having an art style became akin to having an artistic identity. Like if I changed my art style, then I was no longer that artist and I had to kind of reinvent myself all over again, which after one or two times is just frankly exhausting and not realistic. So I think after I realized that my art style can change and that it has no effect on my value as an artist or my experience as an artist, and that was okay, I felt the urge to spread the word and normalize that to others. I feel like the most iconic thing that my art style has ever been known for was how I drew eyes. Everyone used to say you could recognize my art because I would draw my eyes really big. And that was like my thing that made my art my style. And then I remember for a while I stopped drawing the eyes that big, and I liked the art that I did, but also felt like I wasn't being true to myself. And what that did was that it really stunted a lot of my artistic growth because I was trying to trap myself back in the box of, no, you're the girl who draws big eyes. That's what you do. And the truth was I wasn't that girl anymore. I wasn't that artist anymore. I wanted to draw more normal sized eyes, and that was okay. I wanted to tone it down on the eyelashes, and that was okay too. And I feel like once I let myself be okay with that, I was more open to experimentation, and therefore I was more open to progress. And I feel like I can really highlight my different art styles within the past month or so in the artwork that I've created. The past two illustrations that you might have seen from me are this one titled Toxic, and this one that I don't remember the title of. Don't remember what I titled it. But those are very detailed illustrations where everything is really rendered out. There is a lot of attention to the hair, to the facial features, to the anatomy, all of those various things. And that is certainly one of my art styles that I do. I would call that my glutton for punishment style, when I want to spend hours and hours and hours inking many, many strands of hair. I draw in my glutton for punishment style. There are also days that I don't want to do that and my wrist hurts, but I still want to create something and I still want to do something cool. So I draw in my more simplified style that's kind of fun and kind of, toned down and focuses more on simple blocks of color and trying to make things very easy to digest for the eye visually. I don't want there to be too much detail. I don't want there to be too much shading, but I want there to be a lot of fun, bold, bright lines and colors. And that's another art style that I have. And those are the two kind of main boxes that you can put them in. But I feel like there's also a lot of area in between and on either ends of those extremes too. And I think the whole thing is that I'm not putting too much time and attention into figuring out all those different art styles. I'm just letting myself have them. I'm letting myself have multiple art styles and having that be okay. And it's not all about having a very consistent Instagram feed, and it's not all about having a ginormous body of work that somebody can look at and go, oh, yep, one person made all of that. Because to me, if you have that, there's no shame in that. But to me, if I were to have that, I would know that I am limiting myself and that I am not experimenting and I am not being open to doing new things with my work. So, some ways that I think you can branch out and experiment with your art style and to sort of face this myth head on and break outside of your box a little bit. One would be to reference artists that you like, artists that have a different style than you do. Style being a more generalized term, just in general. Maybe they have a different subject that they draw in, or they use different color palettes. In this example, I'm using an art book from Audra Claire, and I am sort of referencing those illustrations loosely for their color and for just kind of their overall vibe that they have, and I'm making them my own. Another thing that you can do is change up the supplies that you're using. If you have gotten really used to using one art supply and having one style with that one art supply, one thing that you can do to shake up your style is to shake up your materials. I used Copic markers for years and years and years, and I became very used to how controlled they were and how predictable and the many, many color combinations that I could use. And the minute that I tried something different, like gouache or Posca pens, I found myself liking the restriction, liking having fewer colors, liking having a smaller range of sizes that I could use, and the scale of the detail was completely different. And that was really fun for me because I had to do something different because those materials required something different. I couldn't keep my same style with those materials. And so when I needed to get out of the box, using a new supply was the way to do that. And to some extent, I feel like the art supply that I use greatly impacts the art style that I have. If I use watercolor, my work tends to look very different than if I use marker or gouache or Posca pens, or if it's just a sketch in my sketchbook. They all have a very different look and feel to them. I would even go as far as to say that my digital sketches look very different style-wise than my traditional sketches. And the more that I experiment with different mediums, I like who I am as an artist. And I feel like I want to just normalize for you guys that that is okay, that that's allowed, you're not breaking any law, you're not any less of an artist. And I feel like I just want to shout this from the rooftops because we get very different messages about art style from social media. And I'm sure I've been guilty of this, of saying, this is how I got my art style, and this is how I do it, and how you can do it too. And I've no doubt been a consumer of those videos, and I have no doubt been on the quest for something as unachievable as a consistent art style. And for me, it just is not gonna happen. And I feel like I'm okay with that, You guys have seen many, many sides of me, and you've learned with me through all of those sides and all of those various styles, and it's cool, I have many different parts to me as you do to you, and I feel like your art style should reflect that. So that's my little soapbox for today. I just wanted to come on here and tell you that it's okay to be you. You don't have to have one thing or be one thing. You could be multiple things. And in fact, you should be. And you shouldn't feel like you have to keep yourself in one box that doesn't perfectly fit who you are. That's about it. That's about like all I have to say on it. Pretty quick, pretty easy. If you have thoughts on art style or ways that you've kind of evolved in your view of your art style, comment them down below in this video. Keep that conversation going, because I think the more we talk about it, the more we normalize it for younger artists out there, which is really the greatest power in doing this. So if you're a younger artist and you're thinking to yourself, why don't I have a consistent art style yet? It's because you never will, kid. You never will. That's okay. Quarantine is weird, guys. I hope you are hanging in there with me and all of this craziness. I am still trying to make videos, obviously, and some of them are turning out a little weird. I think I am going to start live streaming on Twitch, and I'm going to be streaming Animal Crossing. That is the point that I am at in quarantine. I am now going to be a Twitch streamer and stream video games. And by video games, I mean only Animal Crossing and exclusively Animal Crossing. I purchased a $70 screen capture card just so that I could show people my island and talk to them about it. How's your quarantine going? I hope it's going great. I hope you're surviving and thriving. And yeah, go follow me on Twitch. I'll have that link down below. Thank you for watching this video. Wash your hands, and I'll see you on the internet.